Good day, sir. We are the Group 3.
And our topic is all about deontology.
Good day, sir. Enrico Habines. I'm the first reporter about deontology. Deontology is a type of ethical theory that focuses on the moral rules and duties that guide human behavior. In deontological ethics, actions are considered to be inherently right or wrong based on their conformity to certain moral rules rather than based on their consequences or outcomes.
I'm the second reporter. I'm John Wilbin Lopez. Deontologists believe that individuals have certain moral duties and obligations, such as the duty to tell the truth, respect and rights of others, and keep promises. These duties and obligations are considered to be universal and apply to all individuals in all situations.
My name is Julie De Lostignani and I am the next reporter. Deontological ethics is often contrasted with consequentialist ethics, which judges the morality of an action based on its outcomes or consequences. Deontologists argue that certain actions are always wrong, regardless of their consequences. For example, it is always wrong to lie, even if the lie would prevent harm or produce a greater good.
In deontological ethics, therefore, before we make moral decisions, we have to consider first which actions are right and wrong and proceed from them. If action is right in itself, then we have the duty or the moral obligation to act on it. If an action is wrong in itself, then we are under moral obligation to act accordingly.
Deontology ethics is closely associated with Immanuel Kant's model of ethical theory. It argues that the morality, that is the rightness or wrongness of a human act, depend on whether such an act fulfills a duty or not rather than on its consequences. Hence, deontology ethics is duty-based. As a matter of fact, deontology comes from the Greek word deon, which means duty. One of the basic ideas of deontological ethics is that actions are right or wrong in themselves regardless of their consequences.
An example of deontology in Immanuel Kant's ethical philosophy, Kant argues that humans or individuals must be considered and themselves and not just as means to an end. Therefore, according to Kant, deontology it might be ethical to a little white lie to a significant other because lying is intrinsically good and significant other as individual must be consistent as an end in themselves and therefore deserve the respect of being told the truth. The main focus of deontology is duty and intention. Deontological ethics acknowledges that the actions are morally independent of outcome because good action can result in bad outcome and vice versa. Therefore, an action can only be moral if it has goodwill behind it and if the action is dutiful or necessary. Deontology, in simple words, is the moral philosophy that judges an act as moral or good based on the intention of the individual committing the act and the duties the person is obligated to uphold.
Good morning, I am Roy Chester Kumanit. I'm the next reporter. Overall, deontology emphasizes the importance of following moral rules and fulfilling moral duties, regardless of the consequences, in order to act in a moral, responsible way.
One of the key effects of deontological ethics is that it provides a clear set of moral rules that can be followed regardless of the situation or context. This can provide individuals and communities with a sense of moral clarity and certainty. However, deontological ethics can also be criticized for being inflexible and failing to account the complexities of real-world moral dilemmas. Another effect of deontological ethics is that it places a strong emphasis on individual moral responsibility. According to this theory, individuals have a duty to act in certain ways regardless of external factors or circumstances. This can be seen as a strength of deontological ethics, as it autonomy.
List of the pros of deontological ethics. 1. Deontological ethics create a foundation for human conduct. Different versions of what we would call the golden rule are found throughout the history of human societies. They can be summed up in this phrase: do you want to others as you would have them do unto you? It was a concept that follows us in our spiritual lives, our professional careers, and even in our relationship to that we form. The second, deontological ethics create higher levels of personal responsibility. The purposes of deontological ethics requirement individuals to act as if they are the ones who are responsible for creating the expectations and legislation that are followed in society. Any actions taken by each person must be done in such a way that a harmonic effect occurs with every decision. Any outcome which created this harmony would not be ethically correct in the structure, which means it would become the responsibility of the individual to avoid such actions at any cost.
The third, deontological ethics create moral absolutes. The structures of deontological ethics is black and white. There are never any gray areas as to what is right or what is wrong with me in society. No exceptions to any moral rules are permitted within this concept, even if situations arise to extreme or unforeseen levels. These guidelines do not allow for another course of action. The outcome of this theory would be that every person with the society could aspire to be morally perfect because there is always an understanding of what would be expected of them from an ethical standpoint.
List of cons and deontological ethics. Deontological ethics create paradox. There are times when the maximum welfare of a society is forbidden when following deontological ethics. This structure tasks an individual with saving lives, but you cannot do this at the expense of your own life. No act on self as sacrifice is listed as a morally correct decision. What is this idea? You could not harm other person even if you knew you saved thousands of lives. You did. At the same time, allowing people to die because you failed to take action is also not permitted. Second, deontological ethics become useful as a supernatural uses. Deontological ethics involve more than human experience. They also include supernatural events, divine commandments, create moral commandments with this structure of society believes in God and whatever name someone would choose to call him or her dictates moral commandments of them and then their ethical duty to follow them in every circumstances. That is why some people choose to harm others in the name of their spiritual deity. Their deontological ethics from supernatural source override moral and they have on the personal level.
And third is last is deontological ethics are a matter of subjective opinion. How do you define right and wrong from deontological perspective depends on the skill and insights of the individuals involved in the situation. Let's go back to the active shooter situation. If someone were to yell in the building that everyone should get out to protect themselves, they would be in a position of ethical correctness compared to someone who pulled a weapon and ended the situation once and for all. Even the act of pushing someone through a door to help them leave is morally inferior with the deontological ethics than yelling about a dangerous situation.
My name is Merjo M. Layao. I'm the next reporter. Here are some examples of scenarios that illustrate deontological principles. The first example is a doctor who refuses to administer a lethal injection to a terminally ill patient who requests it even though doing so would end the patient's sufferings. The doctor believes that taking a life is inherently wrong regardless of the circumstances.
I am Jella Hanuhan. I am the next reporter. The second example is a person who refuses to lie to protect a friend even if the consequences of telling the truth would be harmful. The person believes that telling the truth is a moral duty, regardless of the potential harm caused.
Good morning, my name is Brian Rapirap. I'm the next reporter. The third example is a reporter who refuses to publish a story based on leaked information, even if the story would be newsworthy and generate a lot of attention. The reporter believes that respecting the privacy and confidentiality of source is a moral duty regardless of the potential benefits of publishing the story.
My name is Kushaned A. Ligaray. I'm the next reporter. And the last example, a business owner who refuses to discriminate against job applicants on the basis of race, even if doing so would benefit the businesses financially. The business owner believes that treating all individuals fairly and with respect is a moral duty, regardless of the potential financial consequences. In each of these scenarios, the deontological principle at play is the idea that certain actions are inherently right or wrong, regardless of the potential outcomes or consequences.
And that could be all, sir.
Thank you.